Welcome to the first episode of That's Questionable with Dylan and Ryan podcast. My name is Ryan.
And I'm Dylan.
This is the first episode in a 5-part podcast series on the HSD TV7 podcast channel.
The basic premise of this podcast is that we are going to go around our high school, Hempfield High School, and we are going to ask people what questions they have that they want answered by us on this podcast.
They're the most random questions, the most hot take questions. Some of them are good, some of them are bad, so we filtered through them, and we have several questions today, both good and bad, that we're going to answer for you. Well, the first question we have today is, why does orange juice have pulp? And at first, this is like a question that's really easily answered. You don't need to do any research. You just squeeze an orange, and when the juice comes out, some of the pulp comes with it. But this kind of made me dive deep into the manufacturing process of orange juice, which is really, honestly, like kind of a weird way to spend your morning.
Yeah, orange juice lore, ladies and gentlemen.
Because some orange juice is from concentrate, so that's when they juice the oranges, but they don't sell the juice right away. So they concentrate it. They take as much water as they can out, and so it's just this weird, like, thick orange goo that once they're ready to reconstitute it, you add water, mix it, you're good to go. But you don't concentrate it with the pulp in.
Yeah.
Which means, like, if you get orange juice from concentrate with pulp, the pulp would have had to be added later, which is kind of disgusting. Like, and I like pulp personally. I'm a big pulp guy. What about you, Dylan?
I'm not a pulp guy at all. I hate the consistency. I'm just not about it overall.
I like the chunks of my orange juice. What can I say? But yeah, I mean, usually the juice from concentrate doesn't have pulp, though, so you're probably safe. But, like, watch out. Like, if it's from concentrate and it has pulp, like, who knows what that is, if we're being completely honest.
It's probably not even real pulp.
It very well might not be. It's like hot dogs. You don't want to know what's in them.
Yeah, don't Google this. Do not try this at home.
But in any case, you got to get the orange juice with the pulp, just because the pulp is, like, the only, like, part of orange juice that is of nutritional value. It's got the fiber.
So
anything else, and orange juice is just like, it's basically got the nutritional value of like soda or something. It's just like flavored sugar.
Yeah, literally sugar water. That's all it is.
Hot take right there. Juice is really probably not that good for you.
So true. Second one that we have from Hempfield track star Chris Titter. How did they make rice? Well, it's a little more complicated than you would think. Rice is grown, obviously, not made. It is actually a plant.
It's a grain. It's a grain. There's not rice trees, everyone. It's a grain.
It grows. It's a grain. Yeah, the thing about it is the rice seeds are actually harvested, and then they're milled in a rice huller. The huller removes the chaff, which is the rice's outer husk. At this point, you got brown rice, Uncle Ben's brown rice. Stuff your mom makes, and you're like, I don't like this because it's gross. It's not white rice.
Down with brown rice. If you're at Chipotle, you get the white rice. You don't get the brown rice.
So true. You do not get the brown rice. Brown rice is literally trash. But if we keep taking it from there, the bran then can be removed to create white rice. That's the stuff that that's like actually good. And that will remove some of the nutrients, which can be added back in later on, similarly to the orange juice, as Ryan had stated earlier. But I would dare to assume that it's much less gross.
Yeah, white rice is better than brown rice. I think that's the conclusion. That's the name of the game right there.
That's the coldest take that you could possibly think of.
The coldest take.
Like, we got hot takes and we got cold takes, and this is one of those cold takes.
Brown rice is superior. Everyone knows it. We're moving on. Dylan.
Did you say brown rice is superior?
Oh, wait, no. No.
Do not. I was about to say, that kind of changes the direction of our whole argument there. Just with one word.
That really actually doubles back on us, so.
A little bit, yes. Moving on along, we also have one called Why Are Whales So Big? Very creative. Another one we found in the hallway the other day. It's a little crazy, but up until around 3 million years ago, whales were only around 20 feet long, which is a very drastic difference considering how big they actually are. If you've ever seen one, gone like whale watching, stuff like that, they are massive. And they pretty much evolved to accommodate their diet and choice of prey. So they just like to open up their big old mouths, get 100-something fish, just one big swallow, one big gulp. But they also do eat like larger mammals like seals, which is surprising. I did not know that.
That's like killer whales, though. Like, if you think, especially, like, the biggest of the whales.
Yeah, the biggest.
The biggest of the whales eat the smallest of organisms, like, in the ocean, which is crazy, because they munch on krill. So, like, blue whales are one of the largest mammals to, like, ever be on Earth, which is pretty wild.
Crazy.
And they eat little tiny krill that you literally cannot even see with, like, your bare eye.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy how nature works sometimes. And we can kick it right off with the next question. I was asked, what is the worst horror movie? So we're going to take it, we're going to make it subjective, and we're going to answer in our opinion. We do have a little bit of common agreement with the Rotten Tomatoes website, where some of these horror movies they're really bad. My actual original pick, which I didn't even know would be on the list, is Jason Takes Manhattan, Friday the 13th, Part 8. That is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. There is one redeemable quality to it, which is there's this one really funny death where this dude is boxing Jason on top of a skyscraper, and Jason punches him and his head flies off. And that's the only funny part or entertaining part about the whole movie.
Dylan thinking someone punching someone else's head off is funny. Like, that really gives you a lot of insight into Dylan's sense of humor.
Okay, hear me out, though. It's like the worst, because it's like a low-budget movie. Like, it's going to be like the worst effect you've ever seen in your life. It's like literally very clearly a mannequin head. Like, you can literally still see some of the plastic on the bottom of it. Like, it's just extremely poorly made.
Weren't the Jason movies, like, popular? Like, aren't they some of the more popular horror movies? Why do they not have a bigger budget? Like, why can they not afford to, like, have half decent special effects?
Well, the thing is, those older ones just did not have the biggest budget, just because that's like kind of the vibe that they all went along with to begin with. Like, the whole point was the first one, low budget, lots of teenagers, people getting killed, crappy special effects.
Wait, when were they made?
Scary.
They're old?
Yeah, they're like 80s. Like, if you think about it, that was like 40 years ago.
I just did not know that.
Yeah, they're pretty old. And then, obviously, they've continued into modern times. There was a reboot, I want to say maybe around like 7 years ago-ish, which supposedly is not very good. I've never seen it personally because I've only heard bad things about it. Same with, like, there were some ones in the early 2000s that were pretty trash, like The Final Friday and Jason X, where they put Jason in space for no apparent reason. But it is what it is.
He's out there killing asteroids and stuff. Go, Jason, go.
Yep, he actually turns into an asteroid in the ending. So,
the worst horror movie I've seen is every horror movie, because I have not seen a good horror movie. And I feel like you have to take that with a grain of salt. Take it with a grain of rice, perhaps.
A grain of rice.
Because I've seen 3 horror movies. I saw Scream, this one Dark Web, like Unfriended, the Dark Web, kind of crazy, and one of the Purge movies, Election Year. So, like, not one of the original Purge
not even
movies.
The first one.
And Scream, I don't know, I just wasn't feeling Scream. I think I watched it on Halloween. Yeah, not feeling it. It was a little cheesy.
See, that's what I don't agree with. Scream is actually in one of my favorite movies of all time, period. If we're looking around like all genres, it just does everything right. And I don't really get why Ryan doesn't like it, but, to each their own, I guess.
I think I didn't pay attention enough. Like, I honestly, like, just randomly, like, saw my boy appear in his little mask. And I just think I didn't really put 2 and 2 together on that one. As far as, like, the Dark Web one goes, that was just weird. Also, like, you gotta be watching out for that stuff. Like,
Dark Web's scary, man.
Yeah.
It's a scary place.
Scary place. Not that I've been there.
No, of course not.
Or plan on ever being there.
I think it's a crime. Probably.
Yeah, that's not trying to get on some FBI watch list with this podcast. And then The Purge, honestly, I would have to say The Purge was out of the 3 horror movies I have watched, is maybe the best one.
Surprising.
Maybe because it was like not. It wasn't like scary. Like it was just people in like kind of weird costumes. They were just trying to kill other people. So it was almost like, I don't know, just like an action type movie where they were trying to save the one like candidate, and then there was just like people trying to kill him. So nothing super special. It just happens that the people that were trying to kill her wore weird Halloween costumes.
Yeah, it's really strange how those Purge movies have went from like being a social commentary about the possibility of that actually happening in the future to just really dumb stuff. Like, they're still making them for some reason. Somebody's got to be watching them. It's not me, though. Also, we can move on right now to our next question. Why do birds have feathers?
Yeah, kind of going from animals with whales to animals with chickens, and birds need feathers because birds fly, and birds need to stay warm. Birds with like hair or fur, that'd be freaky.
Absolutely bonkers.
So yeah, I mean, like, feathers are just one of those evolutionary traits. But like I read this thing that birds are the most evolutionarily close animal, if evolutionarily is a word, to dinosaurs, which is freaky because like basically we have dinosaurs still, but they're just like birds, like they're just like chickens and stuff.
Very unthreatening and uneventful.
Yeah, not really sure if I believe it, but I mean, yay for birds. I guess they've got one thing going for them.
Yeah.
And so technically, like when we eat chicken, like we're eating dinosaur meat, which is just a freaky concept because
Crazy.
To bring it full circle, dinosaur chicken nuggets
Are actual dinosaurs.
Yeah, like it's dinosaur meat in the shape of dinosaur. Because if we go on the fact that chickens are dinosaurs, then chicken nuggets are like dinosaur nuggets. So dino nuggets are just chicken nuggets.
So, but that means the dino nuggets really are dino nuggets, which is very strange to think about.
So I hope you never think of that the next time you eat dino nuggets, or else you'll probably lose your appetite for dino nuggets.
Which would stink because dino nuggets are simply delicious.
Simply delicious.
Simply delicious.
Lip
Delicious.
smacking.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. All right. Up next, we got why do we have school? Real creative one from whoever in the hallway gave me this one. But why do we have school? It's actually because of the Aztec Triple Alliance, which were the rulers of Mexico from the 15th to early 16th century, which invented the idea of making education mandatory for the sake of, keeping their society smart, keeping their, I don't know, whatever you want to call, their knives sharp, stuff like that. Well, brainium? I don't know. Anyways, for the greater good of society, they mandated the education of children.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they weren't just like they didn't like invent being smart. That's kind of not a thing.
No.
But they did open it up to people that weren't rich or like their dad was a government official type deal. So that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Look at that. Yeah. Also, learn stuff. Get your money up, not your funny up. Keep that funny out of here.
Very epic.
Yeah. Oh, another really great one that we got. Why are you wearing a hat? One thing you'll notice about me, if you see me, Dylan Risser, walking around the hallways at Hempfield High School, you'll see I always have a trucker cap on. It's simply one reason and one reason alone. My hairstyle underneath this hat is horrible. I kid you not, it is terrible. It's a terrible hairstyle. I get critiqued for it so much. So much trash has been talked on my hairstyle over the years. So I got sick of it and I just started wearing a hat. It works.
This kid used to
Oh my, no.
This is not podcast friendly material. Gorilla snot is
Gorilla
not
snot. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll explain it for you. I don't want to. I'm gonna roast myself here. I'm gonna roast myself. I had this hairstyling gel called Gorilla Snot that you combine with water. It was very, very stiff. And one year when I was a freshman, I was doing the morning announcements, and I wanted to look nice, So I brought my Gorilla Snot to school, greased over my hair, so that way, literally it's super glue level consistency. I got on that announcements, and I killed it. So.
Did you see the one lady that, they said you had to get this hair glue or whatever, and she literally just covered her entire scalp in like super glue.
I did see that. That was Gorilla Glue, not Gorilla Snot.
Yeah.
Very dangerous. It's one word.
Don't make that mistake. I think
Do not.
like she just had like a shell of glue. Like
She
I think
literally did.
and they didn't even know like how to cut it off because like it was inside the roots of her hair, and you can't just like rip off her scalp because that's like straight out of a horror movie.
And people do that stuff still purposely within like the sort of like punk community. I've heard and seen people will put super glue in their hair and spike it out in different ways and call them Liberty spikes. But you know, once you're done with them, you gotta cut them out.
Wow.
At least they aren't getting them stuck in the roots of their hair, because you gotta shave them off. It's just a cone of hard hair.
Can I ask why you know that?
I don't know. TikTok's a scary place. All I'm gonna say.
Liberty spikes for you. There you go. So can we make Liberty spikes a trend? Like down with the mullet and like Liberty spikes to the moon. I think.
I think so. Liberty spikes to the moon, and
I would invest early, folks.
yeah, invest early, invest quick. It's very important. It's gonna go up. Price is gonna go up soon. So, oh, and we got one last question for you guys today. Sent in from our very own Gunner Main. Go watch Gunner and Ryan's YouTube show on HSD TV7. But Gunner had sent us this question: what is the most sus color in Among Us? And we got some hot takes, actually. Now, most of the time you'll hear people say red is sus. That's just how it goes. But in this case, we don't think so. We don't.
We have done some like technical analyzing. And by technical analysis, I mean
we've played hundreds of hours of Among Us.
It's insane, actually. Our Among Us playtime is through the roof.
I haven't slept in 3 days, just trying to figure out what the most sus color is.
And so we've really, just logged all the hours we can, and we've figured out that the most sus Among Us color is
green.
Green.
Green is the most sus color. You see, it's the reason that it's so sus is that you think green's good, red's bad. No. The whole time it was green. That's the whole point. They were the imposter.
In this case, green light means stop, turn around, go the other way.
Stay away. Go to the emergency station. Call a meeting. Get them out of here.
And that about does it for the first episode of That's Questionable with Dylan and Ryan. Episode 1 is in the wraps, in the books. If anyone listening has any questions they want us to feature on an episode, make sure to DM the HSD TV7 Instagram at HSD TV7 or talk to one of us, because
you'll see us.
We need questions. If you see 2 guys with a camera in the hallway shouting that to ask us a question, that's probably us. So
that's probably us.
And with that, I think we're about to wrap up podcast 1.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.